Welcome back to Indomitable Interactive. Today I checked out a ridiculous shooter called Zortch. Well, actually it's called Zortch Maxinum against the alien Brainsuckers. If you've been looking for a new school shooter to play, then come see what the self-proclaimed Boomer Shooter Connoisseur has to say. Zortch is a boomer shooter with a one-man dev team, and its very small indie feel has some charm. It takes place on an alien planet in which you play as a human, Zortch Maxinum, that has been scanned by a fake vacation scheme and captured. Any further lore than this is either very cryptic or only said at the end of the game, but this is a boomer shooter, let's be real, we're not here for the lore. Right off the bat, you'll probably notice the movement, which I would describe as slippery. It was something I reacted to immediately. Okay, movement's a little slidey. Nope. Game's a little slippy and slidey sometimes. Okay. It very much feels like 1998's Half-Life, which definitely fits the old school shooter theme Zortch is clearly going for. That being said, the movement is something I particularly don't like about the first Half-Life, especially when it demands of you some platforming precision. It's something you get used to, but to me the jankiness is undeniable. It isn't too bad though, so it isn't ruining the game or anything. There's also the fact that with the ability to run, you can actually move around the map insanely fast, which I generally approve of. I mean, the game wouldn't let me move this fast if I'm not supposed to just rush the exit, right? Aside from the movement, the gunplay itself is definitely good. Pretty much what you would expect. Another thing I noticed off the bat was your first real weapon, the shotgun. Rather than starting you off with a pistol, Zortch gives you a shotgun as a starter weapon. This isn't unheard of since Quake in fact does the same thing. In fact, the shotgun in Zortch feels pretty similar to the one in Quake. I never use this gun. It's not even like, they don't even give it to you first. Like when they gave me the shotgun, I was like, okay, so this is Quake, but there just isn't a pistol, that the shotgun is the pistol. Which was something I always kind of liked about Quake. So that's where that thing got to. But then it gave me the pistol, and I was just like, this isn't necessary. Yeah, the difference is that Quake actually never gives you a pistol at all, but Zortch does. And I did not find myself almost ever using the pistol, other than for the sole reason of using it just to use it. Although I did notice myself struggling to hit things with the shotgun, I'm unsure if it was because of mouse sensitivity, or enemies moving quickly, or what, because I did not have the same consistent struggle with other weapons. Nonetheless, I found myself whiffing a ton of shotgun shots. As for some of the other weapons in the game, I would actually say I found a lot of them unhelpful. The pistol doesn't do much damage, and I struggled to hit things with the shotgun for whatever reason. The machine gun was probably my most used weapon. I didn't even know you could do that. It's kind of stupid, honestly. Well, the feature itself isn't stupid, but it being WASD is kind of weird. To zoom in, you use WASD, because like, I don't know, it's also how I move, you know? There. Yeah, I can't decide if I like or kind of hate this scope feature. Just the way it works, like, I can't walk forward because it uses WASD for some reason to zoom in and out. Going for the headshots allowed me to kill the humanoid enemies very easily, and it was by far my best long-range option because of the scope. The scope mechanic was hard to use at times and felt somewhat janky, so it still wasn't my favorite weapon. I can certainly say that the flamethrower was definitely not my favorite weapon either. So goddamn fast. Is there a better weapon that I'm forgetting about? Because the answer is not the fucking flamethrower. Okay, I can tell you that definitively. I mean, I can just walk in there with this. The electric gun was, of course, very powerful, but I didn't want to use its ammo too much. If a room had a ton of enemies, though, I would occasionally thoroughly enjoy simply clearing them out with it. It seemed as though the grenade launcher was truly my greatest ally. There we go. It feels like the grenade launcher solves all, if I'm being honest with you. Not saws all, but solves all. I'm very funny. The grenades explode on impact with an enemy like in Quake, which is a must in my opinion. I do not frequently use grenades in fast-paced shooters since they take a while to explode and enemies move quickly and unpredictably. Anyway, it does high damage. Its only real problem is hitting things at a range. Also, being too close means you're going to take splash damage. That being said, I did find out, eventually, that the right-click function for this weapon fires a grenade in a straight line, with no arc or gravity. Essentially, this makes it both a grenade launcher and a rocket launcher. This would have been extremely helpful to me, but I did not think to even click the right mouse button for quite some time. The grenade launcher is my only hope. That's glass, apparently. Whoa, what the hell? This is a rocket launcher too? I didn't know that. Ah! Yeah, that clip was from the second to last level in the last episode of the game, so this discovery wasn't that helpful to me. Finally, there was the dynamite, which you have to throw and then explode manually. This kind of weapon is not usually one that I use in a boomer shooter, so naturally I did not like it at first, but I have to say that it actually grew on me quite a bit. See, like, I had to throw it and then detonate it. It's just, I'm never going to use that. See, it got away anyway. Never mind, I think I still got some. This is genuinely maybe easier. I can't really escape that. I can't really miss. I'm kind of liking the dynamite. I'm kind of thinking, like, perhaps I treated it too harshly.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Honestly, the dynamite, which I assumed would be stupid, is actually some of the best, one of the best weapons. Overall, Zortch doesn't necessarily have a go-to weapon. For something like Doom, you have the super shotgun. For Quake, you have the double-barreled shotgun again, and for Half-Life, I mainly use the machine gun. And I really like all of those weapons. They serve their general needs purpose and feel good to use. I mean, nothing feels better than the Doom 2 Super Shotgun reloading animation, come on. But anyway, for Zortch, my go-to weapon was the machine gun, I guess. But I still didn't think it was great for general purpose. Really just good for humanoid enemies that are at a long range. For this reason, as well as not liking a few of the other weapons, I would say that the arsenal is kind of mediocre. Yes, it is. I would rate the arsenal as subpar. I literally only find like 3 of these guns acceptable. Like, this is my best long-range option, and I still hate it. This is probably Zortch's biggest weakness, but it is a very subjective one. Another point I feel I should make is that I don't think you get any new weapons past like episode 3, which was a little disappointing. The enemies are an interesting part of the game for sure. There are some aspects about their behavior that annoy me, but overall, the enemies are a strong suit of Zortch's. There is a lot of enemy variety. Oh my god, those are Flammenwerfers. The enemy variety is pretty hot. Like, there's a lot of different kinds of enemies. I don't really feel like the levels have enough enemies in them for how much ammo they fucking give me. There are humanoids with different weaponry, like a machine gunner, flamethrowers, grenadiers, and rocket launcher guys. Beyond that, though, there are several much weirder, more alien enemies, as well as little robots as well. I won't get into all of them, but there is a very surprising amount of variety for such a short game, I would say. As far as things that annoy me, a lot of the enemies, particularly the humanoids, jump around. I mean, they jump around a lot. Like, I could not stop commenting on it. God, these guys can jump insane amounts, first of all. I have to say, these enemies jumping around this much is a little annoying. Hi there. I forgot they can jump like 9 miles into the air. I think that's the guy that got away from me earlier. I just can't believe these guys are capable of jumping up here. Like, I certainly can't jump that high. Why can they? See, like, they jump around, and I don't even have any idea where the hell they get to. Turned into living weapons. They are now hopping mad. Everything in this game is hopping mad, bro. Unless that guy's not actually dead. Okay. How did he even get up there? Okay, the enemies can jump ridiculously high, to be fair. They just chop. Okay, I had to just. There's a little bit too much verticality here, because these people can jump 19 miles into the air. This was actually fairly annoying at times, since I would struggle to hit them when they're moving around so fast, or literally just lose track of them entirely. My only other complaint about them really was that some of the enemies can fall over without dying. Oh, you're not dead. Neither are you. But you're down there now, so. I previously mentioned this in the Dread Templar video that I dislike when I'm unsure if an enemy is dead. It's something Quake 2 does that I very much do not like. In Zortch, however, if you hit them in the head, or jibbed them obviously, then they wouldn't get back up, so I usually got around it. I could kind of feel out whether they had taken enough damage to die outright, or if they would get back up based on vibes, and a lot of the time when they're actually dead, their head would be missing. It was a somewhat annoying feature, but multiple different factors do play into making it a lot less annoying. Of course, as I mentioned in my Dread Templar video, all of these games have to have enemies that you hate. Like, hate.
Hate. Double hate.
Loathe entirely.
For Zortch though, this really only described one enemy for me. These floaty guys. Oh, that guy's already dead. Oh, no, we can just teleport, because, why wouldn't you be able to? You still alive? Still? Ow! Whatever. Give me that hamburger, thank the Lord in heaven. That didn't kill you, okay. How are you still alive? I've literally hit you with, do you have infinite health? That's gonna kill you, bro. I think you died. They have way too much health considering they're in the first episode. Their explosive projectiles do quite a bit of damage. They can revive enemies and teleport. If anything, this guy should be a boss, not an enemy that becomes relatively commonplace in later episodes. I hate that guy, and I dreaded, not Templar, any room that featured him. Anyway, the only thing left for me to really talk about are the levels themselves. As the game progresses, the levels felt like they were getting larger and taking longer, with some exceptions where very short levels were sprinkled in, along with the short boss stages. They got to a point of being a little too long for my liking, but it was nothing too bad. I just happened to prefer shorter Boomer Shooter levels. Yeah, I just don't need my Boomer Shooter levels to be like 900 years long, so I'm not really going to look for all the secrets and look everywhere, There's plenty of places I didn't go. In the way of secrets, this game was very much the opposite of Dread Templar in that I would often find many secrets quite easily. They would be hidden under staircases, in small, easily seen hatches, things like that. I couldn't ever find any secrets at all in Dread Templar, but Zortch had more per level and they were easier to find, which I approve of. Other things I noticed about the levels were an abundance of health and ammo. The game has a medkit that allows you to heal at any time, along with 8-packs that could heal over 100 at once, burgers that could heal 30, and individual cans that could heal 20. Vending machines can supply a nearly infinite number of cans, so they're pretty much infinite health recharge stations if you're patient enough. Everything has duplicates for some reason. 20 HP, damn! And these are free? It's a lot of health in this game. I mean, I'm on medium, it's not like, I'm on an uber easy difficulty or anything. Although if you're over 200 HP, you can't pick up any items or use the medkit, I would often find myself way over 200 HP. The game also offered a lot of ammo compared to the number of enemies in each level. It loves giving me ammo. I love not being able to carry any more ammo. Lastly, an important aspect of the game is the level design. Okay, guess I'll come back to this area later after I get the green key. I think the level design is actually where this game's strong suit, to be honest. It follows a formula that is very formula-y, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, especially for a game this short. God damn it, where the hell is the green key? I would definitely say it is Zortch's strong suit. The levels were fun and engaging, while also looking like actual scenes trying to depict something, which is something that I like. It manages to be fun and logical at the same time. I can tell what is supposed to be happening in each level. Quake had something like that where I could tell I was in a castle, but then suddenly you would be in a computer lab in the next level, so I was never really sure what the hell was going on in that game. Zortch's levels are more coherent, which isn't a crucial aspect of Boomer Shooter's gameplay, but it is something that I just generally prefer. More importantly, Zortch's levels felt well designed. They had the right amount of branching paths and backtracking. It was enough to not feel entirely linear and boring, but not too much that it felt maze-like. Aside from the maze, that was maze-like. In that last clip I mentioned that it used a formula that felt formula-y. I have a way with words. Anyway, what I meant was that each level follows the same set of rules. There are areas blocked off by green energy fields that are powered by a generator that is always behind the green key door. The exit is always behind a red key door, and the red key itself is usually behind a green force field, forcing you to find the green key first. Occasionally, there is also a blue key and door that's thrown into the mix to complicate things. Other than boss levels and a few rare occasions, this formula is never strayed from. These other occasions are sprinkled in just enough to feel refreshing, but not jarring. I do not have much to say about the art. It emulates that era of shooter quite well, and a lot of the enemy designs are unique and interesting. It certainly has charm, but the art didn't specifically jump out at me as an amazing aspect of the game. It works perfectly as desired, so there isn't much I want to comment on. Overall though, the game has some great aspects, and the gameplay is quite fun. It has a level of jankiness that can be a little annoying at first, but I also find somewhat charming at the same time. It even has some weird default settings like no reticle in the middle of the screen and a weird gun flipping animation that I found far too frequent and annoying. But a reticle can be turned on and that animation can be turned off. Zortch is imperfect, but it has a vibe that I like and gameplay that I enjoy. I'd give it a 7 out of 10 and place it right below Dread Templar, but still an A tier. That's it for today, but comment below your favorite boomer shooter, new and old, and thanks for watching.